Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a pre-owned Ineos Grenadier. We're going to see how well the Grenadier is doing from a value perspective. Is this thing dropping like a rock because it's a new car from a new car company, or is it doing well? We'll find out in today's video. Before we get in this video, I want to give you a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Ford here in Park City for giving me some time with this Grenadier. They currently have this one available for sale for the time being. So if you're interested, link to their website in the description down below. Link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. So starting under the hood, the Grenadier is powered by BMW's B58. It's a turbo 3-liter inline-6 that goes through an 8-speed. It puts out 282 horsepower and then 331 pound-feet of torque. You can get about 17-18 miles per gallon with this. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So to set the stage for today's video, I want to go over the options that this particular Grenadier has because options are plentiful on the Grenadier, and I do think that's going to kind of somewhat determine how much these are selling for used depending on the options. So first off, you can see this one's had the checker plates added. This is a dealer installed option. Aside from that, the rest of the front end is basically just normal Grenadier, so checker plates on the front end, and then around the side here we've got the upgraded all-terrain tires. We've got the steel wheels as well. The all-terrain tires, that is an option with the Grenadier, and then you can see little mud flaps there. This one does not have the tie-down points on the side, so that's something to note. It also does not have the power up top either. That's an option that some people are looking for, but this one doesn't. This one's basically like a regular Grenadier that's been made to look kind of like a Trial Master, but there is your full side profile of this one. And then popping out back, this one just has the regular spare tire carrier, so no storage in there, and then no ladder on the back either. And then opening up the doors here, that's kind of cool. So this one came from Colorado. Interesting. This is the bag for the Safari windows. I'll show those in just a moment. But this has doesn't have the tie-down points here in the back. It has a couple, but it doesn't have the extra ones, if that makes sense. So that's a key thing to note with it. It's always interesting when they don't have ladders. It still looks cool because it's still got that off-road Safari SUV look, but interesting. And then popping inside, this one has the quote-unquote entry interior, and what I mean by that is you've got the cloth inserts here and then on the seats. So this one doesn't have the upgraded leather seats, which I don't think is a problem. I actually really like these seats. I kind of wish that mine, because I have a Grenadier, I wish that mine had this, because this creates some nice contrast inside, and these inserts kind of, soften things up a little bit. We've got the standard steering wheel with this one as well, and then this is all basically standard for the rest of this part of the interior for the most part. This one does have the heated seats added, so that's another option that we have to kind of add to our calculation here. And then if we actually look up top, you guys can see we've got front rear locking differential, so this has that. It does have some auxiliary power, so it doesn't have none, just has a couple added to it. And then obviously you can see the Safari, oops, hit the camera there. You can see the Safari windows, those are $2,000 option. And let's quickly start it up so I can show you guys the mileage on this. Boom! It's actually gonna be over here though. So just over 4,000 miles on the odometer with this. Pop that off. And so that's a quick look at the options. Now, original MSRP in this, just, kind of eyeballing it, it's probably gonna be somewhere close to 80 grand, roughly. So this is kind of right around where most Grenadiers are in terms of the pricing. They're usually around the high 70s to low 80s depending on options, and this one looks like it's right in that batch, and that's the original MSRP. Now the price that this is selling for is 74-ish, and so yes, it has lost value compared to the original MSRP. I mean, you'd hope so, that's what used cars typically do, but it hasn't lost all that much, and I really do want to talk about that, so let's drive it. Two keys, by the way. Okay, let's get this show on the road. So, visibility in the Grenadier, by the way, is fantastic. My recommendation, I got Safari windows in mine, just tint them. That's the easiest way to make it so that it's a little bit more cozy with the drive. You still get to see out of them, you still get to see the clouds in the sky and all of that, but then you don't get abused by the sun. So it's nice. Man, I feel like a high-class person because I have the fancy leather steering wheel in mine. This one has the Napa leather, like the entry-level steering wheel. And I don't know, I'm like, man, mine's bougier. This steering wheel's fine, it feels good, but yeah, mine's just nicer. Gotta show how highbrow I am with my Grenadier. Please tell me this has the speed thing set at favorite. No. I ain't gonna talk crap, but I will say my local Ineos dealer here in Utah, over in West Valley, Warner, the first thing they do for every single customer before they deliver the car is they set the speed warning as the favorite item so that it never goes, so that you can just turn it off instantly. So this Ineos dealer, chop chop. Anyways, I own one of these, so I know exactly how it drives. It's really cool. I am convinced at this point that this is just an old G-Wagon chassis that's been basically modified to fit the stuff that Ineos wants on it, and then, you know, has a BMW engine instead of a Mercedes V8 under the hood. Just because, I mean, you look at the exterior, the solid axles, and then how this drives, it really does drive like a previous gen G-Wagon. So it just makes sense. And ooh, Ferrari, it's always cool. So it drives really well. It's got that solid, like, tank-like body-on-frame SUV feel that you don't get in a lot of modern cars. It's pretty rare nowadays, and so it's really cool. I gotta scoot this back a little bit more. It's really cool with how it drives. I love it, and it's just so, like, it feels so rugged. It feels so rugged. And, you know, some downsides, I've had some people tell me that Grenadiers are not daily drivable. I think that's just malarkey, because here's the deal. Yeah, it's got kind of funky steering, and yeah, the suspension's a little bit rougher. The turning radius is not the greatest you saw, but it's got more than enough power. So cool. You can hear like the blow off a little bit. It's got more than enough power, and the ride quality is good for daily driving. And there's more road noise. It's not that bad, and the wind noise is not that bad for a boxy SUV. This is, in my opinion, more daily drivable than a Bronco or a Wrangler, less daily drivable than like the new Defender, right? And again, this is not supposed to be as luxe as the new Defender. So values, right? That's the big topic of today's video. Why is this holding its value so well so far, right? Again, it's pretty new on the market. It has technically been available since 2023 though. I think because of what this offers at the price point, a lot of people, it's funny, there's two different groups. There's people that see this for what it is, and they're like, that's a bargain. And then there's people that just look at this and they go, new car from new car company, they want 80 grand for that? No, that's too much money. But the used car market obviously is kind of, sees it somewhere in between, right? It's probably reality, right? And I do agree with a lot of people. I think that, you know, with the options that this has, in that $70,000 range instead of the MSRP of around $80,000, I mean, it's like a no-brainer. Tell me of another SUV you can get at that price point that's going to be as durable as this. There's nothing, right? The Wrangler has, it's still, you know, body on frame, it's still solid axles and everything, but it's gone a little soft when it comes to reliability. And then, you know, the new Lexus GX and Land Cruiser, they're turds. Like, straight up. Toyota's engines have been blowing up left and right in all of their cars, their transmissions as well. And so this has a proven engine and transmission. This engine has proven itself to not be perfect, but it's pretty darn reliable. And so I think that the market sees the value, and I think that these Grenadiers, you know, who knows exactly what they'll be long-term value-wise, but I think that these are consistently going to sell in the $60,000 to $70,000 range, depending on the options, pre-owned, for quite some time. Because there's just not that many that are going to be sold. What the heck did... Anyways, there's just not that many that are going to be sold new. There's nothing behind me. Suspicious. Very suspicious. Anyways, there's not that many that are going to be sold new. Again, it's a lot of people aren't going to be willing to, you know, buy a new car from a new car company. But I think more and more people are going to see how rugged these are, and then people are going to, you know, see these pre-owned for a little bit less than the new ones, and then they're going to go, oh, I'll just save a couple bucks. And this has a big warranty. It's a 5-year, 60,000 mile warranty. So that's a pretty, I mean, since these are just coming out, it's a pretty long warranty. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I think these are gonna, I don't think they're going to be in, there's no, cars aren't investments, but I do think that it's gonna hold its value similarly to what we've seen with, you know, Toyota Land Cruisers, and, you know, with Jeep Wranglers don't hold their value anymore, sadly, but Jeep Wranglers used to hold their value. I think this is gonna be similar to what Jeep Wranglers were, where a used one is not gonna be as expensive as the original MSRP, but it's not gonna be that far off for quite some time. Again, the value with this car is in the hardware. Washer fluid low. Okay, whatever. It's in the hardware, where, you know, you look at the axles this has, the suspension, the shocks, the brakes, the chassis, everything, and just how rugged and durable it is compared to, again, a lot of modern vehicles, and that's where the value comes in. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you disagree with me, if you think these are just gonna drop like a rock. But I mean, we're August now, so these have been available for what, almost, not quite a year, but we're getting close to a year here in the US market. And so that's not a massive amount of time, but that's enough time for a few of these to pop up on the used car market, and, you know, that's enough time for them to be worth nothing or something, and so far they're worth something.